Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay, first up, let's have Chip Towers and then Mike Griffith.
Coach, obviously an incredible comeback again there in the second half. And it's amazing when you think about how poorly you guys, how far you guys got behind. I guess the question is just, how can you explain just the inability to hit a shot in that first half? Because they were good looks. And
yeah, I can't explain it. Just like you can't really explain it when they're making them in the games. And to have our three seniors go 1 of 17, to have Tumani play half the game because of the foul issues, and to still have a chance to win it, a 2-possession game with 30 seconds to go, or roughly, says a lot about what the guys that were on the floor were doing defensively. And even when we got down in the first half, the whole key was to not lose our spirit defensively, because we were having trouble scoring. We weren't making shots. We weren't as aggressive at the basket. We weren't getting rewarded at the foul line. We were trying to move their bigs in and out, and we were playing different lineups. Andrew, unfortunately, he wasn't real healthy going into the game, and it became much less after he got hit a couple of times. So I feel for him. I feel for him because he had to have surgery on his nose on Wednesday. And so, he's got a different brace, all those type of things. And it's been a struggle for him. He's probably practiced 20 minutes for us since the Missouri game. So a lot of things we're going to have to go right with him. But for us to hang in there, for us to continue to really compete defensively for the zone, to help make a difference inside of the game, and for us to get some runouts and play from there, that's sometimes what has to happen. When the threes are going, that's just an added bonus for us right now. When they're not, we still have to find a way to hang in. And that means that I've said this so many times, but it just means we have to do everything we can do to get to that bonus quicker. And that's what the second half entailed us to be able to do, so we could set our defense.
Yeah, Coach, I guess I would echo Chip. I mean, I know you said you don't know, but I mean, the shooting was just so bad. I mean, is that focus? Is it concentration? Is it just Florida's length? I mean, there was
I'll have to watch the film. There were some challenge that we should have made one more pass or took another dribble. And I don't have a great answer. So a lot of those shots, they just didn't go in. And maybe I'll feel different after I watch the film. But the bottom line is, when your shot's not going in, we're very fragile when we're not scoring points and on the defensive end. And it happened to us last Saturday. Well, it didn't happen today. We were able to stay with it, which was good. And we got very little from guys that we rely on to score from us. But at the same time, they defend. And sometimes the game is not going to be pretty at all. It's always pretty if you're getting layups, dunks, and 3-point shots. But we weren't getting those. And so we had to figure out a way to be in the game. And that's getting in that bonus early. And so sometimes you got a couple different game plans that go in based on how you're shooting. This is not a team that's got, those couple guys that we know night in and night out, no matter how they're playing, we can count on them for 2 or 3 threes a night. We're not there, unfortunately. I wish we were. That doesn't mean they're not going to make them, but then we have to get it figured out another way. And that's all that we were trying to do today.
Hey, Coach, we're actually having some audio issues hearing you. Is Mike right there?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm not really sure what the issue is, but it's sounding a little fuzzy. Can we just try to unmute you from your end and then go back on and see if it works? Will you take him off mute now and see if it works? One second, guys. We'll get this figured out shortly. Sorry about this, Coach.
Catherine, can you hear me now? Is this better?
Yeah, much better.
Catherine?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
we're good.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, go ahead, Catherine.
Okay, Coach. Up next, let's have Anthony Dasher and then Steve Hummer.
Hey, Coach. Severe obviously, did all he could today to keep you in the ball game. But does that kind of make it even more frustrating when you mentioned again, like other guys just couldn't do what they normally do? Because if they had, then maybe look at a different outcome.
Well, I don't like the term frustrated because I know you've heard me say this, but I think once we get past the 5th grade, we can't be frustrated anymore.
Yeah, true.
It's perplexing, but we just got to keep moving on, right? I mean, it's not like those guys are trying to miss, but at the end of the day, Florida went 6 of 23 from 3. And so our defense was keeping us in there. Our offense wasn't giving us an edge, but our defense was giving us a chance. And when your defense is giving you a chance, then something is going to break open. And that's what I continue to preach to those guys. I mean, it's such a long game. It's such a long game. And they're learning more about that. And I think the other night helped them with that, with the comeback against Missouri. But we do hit pockets of not scoring. We hit pockets and pockets of not making threes. And it happens to us, but we still have to find a way to be in the game so we have a chance to win it at the end. And so frustrated is not a part of it. It's just a matter of sticking with it and looking for what keeps us moving forward in the game.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Tom, it's such a confusing season here. This is a big picture question, but what would you point to as to some evidence that you all are still heading in the right direction with the program and that and you are becoming more of a factor even within your own conference?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big picture guy. I think we are. We just beat Missouri the other night. I don't have a great answer to that. We're just working to build and improve every day. And when you lose on the road, you're not really into the big picture. Okay. You're a little bit more into what you got to do to get ready for the next game. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I think we've got guys that are making a lot of improvement right now. So I'm not really sure what your question entails. I'm really not going to sit here and do comparisons, but we're getting better. And there's still games left into the season. And so we're just doing our very best to improve daily.
Well, let me rephrase it then. What do you think that this team can prove within the short time frame here of a couple of games left and then the tournament?
I know you. I'm sorry. I stay locked into the next game. I apologize. That's just kind of how it's always been for me. I'm not big picture look ahead, big picture look behind. So everything we're trying to do right now is going to be get ready for LSU, and that's the bottom line. Thank you, though.
All right, for the last 2 questions, let's have Augusta Stone and then Ryan Curley.
Hey, Coach, you actually just mentioned, the Missouri game, which was a late push that resulted in a win. But what can you take away from today that can help y'all, consistently capitalize on that effort and end up with wins versus losses?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we defended when we weren't shooting well. We continued to defend and we held them down. And they do have some bona fide shooters in our 3-point defense and things of that nature. We were overmatched somewhat inside, obviously, but we continued to move in a good direction there. So that's what we just have to build on.
Hey, Coach, when you guys have games like this where the shots just aren't falling, what are you telling your guys differently in the huddle about how they have to defend and how they have to play on offense?
Well, I'll say again, I've said this a few times, but when the shots aren't falling, it's more about how we're going to attack the rim and get into the bonus so we can set our defense. And whether it's post up or whether it's drives, and then continue to stay strong so that when we started to make our comeback, we'd had 6 stops in a row. It really wasn't comeback driven that it really showed up on the scoreboard because we weren't scoring as much. But bottom line is you just got to continue to see what the game is giving you, do everything you can do inside of that. We had to move in a different direction a little bit today based on foul trouble and based on Andrew's situation. And so we just did the best we could with it.
All right, thanks so much, Coach.
All right, thank you.